What starts as a routine theft case quickly turns into a tense courtroom confrontation when a judge realizes the defendant may not be telling the full story. In this hearing, a former Walmart employee stands accused of taking nearly $3,900 worth of prepaid gift cards from a customer. Money that was never hers to begin with. On the surface, the defendant claims the situation was a mistake fueled by hardship and the need to provide for her children. But as the judge begins asking simple questions, where the cards went, how much money was actually spent, and whether she has a criminal history, the answers become less and less clear. And that's where the tension begins to build. Because in court, honesty matters just as much as the crime itself. Judges often weigh a defendant's credibility heavily when deciding whether someone deserves leniency or punishment. If the judge believes someone is being upfront, the outcome may be very different than if the court believes they're hiding the truth. So the big question becomes, is this a struggling mother who made a desperate mistake, or someone who thought she could take advantage of the system and avoid the consequences? As this hearing unfolds, watch closely, because the judge is about to test her story piece by piece.
Ms. Hines, Lori Hines is here with me in the courtroom. Ms. Meyer is in the conference room. She called this morning and said she was sick. I didn't know what that meant. I was concerned because she had never contacted Community Corrections for pretrial supervision until last Friday. Then she called this morning and told them she was sick. But anyway, she's here now, and that's good. I'm not sure. What kind of sick are you? You got a mask on, like respiratory?
Like I feel COVID symptoms, but I have not tested positive for COVID. But yeah, it's in my chest and my breathing. I just don't want to get anyone else sick.
We'll address this. All right, Ms. Hines, what would you like me to know here?
Your Honor, you would know most of all the facts. It just was an unfortunate situation that happened at Walmart, that the incident that caused my client to take the prepaid gift cards. So she's here today. I know she wants this. She doesn't have a criminal history, so I know she want that to be taken into consideration. But she knows there's going to be a penalty for what she did, and she's a mother of children and primarily used the money for her kids. So.
Now we reach the first major red flag in the hearing. The judge begins asking about the missing gift cards, the ones that still supposedly contained part of the stolen money. And instead of giving a clear explanation, the defendant says she left them behind when she moved, suggesting they might now be in the trash. From the judge's perspective, that explanation doesn't add up. Think about it. If someone felt guilty about using stolen gift cards, why wouldn't they return them, turn them in, or at least make sure the money couldn't be used again? Leaving them somewhere for someone else to potentially find raises serious questions about what really happened. The judge also points out another important detail. He's trying to determine how much of the $3,900 was actually spent. That matters, because restitution and sentencing often depend on the amount of financial harm caused. This moment shows how judges evaluate credibility in real time. It's not just about the words someone says, it's about whether the explanation makes sense.
Kids,
so did you spend all $3,900 worth of the gift cards?
No.
How many did you use?
I've used a little bit off of each one, but I know I didn't use the full amount. But I honestly can't sit here and tell you, like dollar sign wise, how much it is that I did spend. I know I spent.
Well, apparently Walmart reimbursed this lady, so I don't think she's out anything, but the restitution, what happened to the rest of the gift cards?
They're still on the gift cards, but I do not have the gift cards anymore.
All right, say you don't have them. What happened to them?
I felt guilty and it was wrong what I was doing, so I mean, I moved, so they're wherever they're left. I don't have them. I don't have them on me. I don't.
All right, well, one thing that I look for to see whether people telling me the truth or not is whether they give me a direct answer or say 3 paragraphs. Let me ask you again, what happened to the remaining gift cards?
I left them when I moved
Left them where?
at my grandma's and she moved, so they're probably in the trash.
So you used an indeterminate amount of them. At which Walmart store did you use them?
I didn't use them at a Walmart store, but I took them from Three Rivers Walmart.
All right, where did you use them?
ATM to get money for diapers and stuff. Mainly the ATM.
I would really like to know where this money was spent, whether it was spent at Chili's or so you just get cash. And I'm also interested in how much you actually stole from it. All right, your lawyer says you don't have any criminal record. Did you get charged with anything, any place?
And now the situation becomes even more serious. Earlier in the hearing, the defense attorney suggested that the defendant didn't have a criminal history. But the judge quickly reveals something that completely changes the narrative: a previous theft charge from Elkhart County in 2022. That revelation is huge. In court, credibility is everything. When a defendant claims they have no prior record, but the judge discovers otherwise, it immediately raises doubts about everything else being said. The judge calls this out directly, pointing out that she hasn't been fully honest about her criminal history, the gift cards, or where the money was spent. At this point, the judge even floats the possibility of 90 days in jail, making it clear that honesty could play a major role in what happens next. This is the moment where the hearing shifts from a simple sentencing discussion into something much more serious. The judge now has to decide not only how to punish the theft, but also how to respond to what appears to be a lack of transparency.
With anything, any place?
Like, I've been charged for this.
That's not true. You were charged with theft in Elkhart County in 2022. You pled guilty to a larceny charge, and they put you on a 1-year suspended sentence and a pretrial diversion. Your name, your date of birth. So you're not telling me the truth about having a criminal history. You're not telling me the truth about what you did with the cards. You're not telling me the whole truth about where you spent the money. So I don't know how much is true and how much is not true. So how would you like to do about 90 days in jail? That sound good?
Please don't. I got babies.
Yes, that's unfortunate. So let's back up. How about if you tell me the truth? Tell me about your theft charge in Elkhart County, Indiana.
Theft in Elkhart County, Indiana. I was buying groceries and there's something in my cart that didn't get scanned. They caught me. I told them nothing but the truth. They didn't take me to jail because it was COVID.
All right, and now you're just with 3 other people or 2 other people stealing in South Bend, and you got picked up on our warrant. All right.
After several minutes of vague answers, the judge finally presses the defendant to estimate how much of the stolen money was actually used. And that's when a clearer number finally emerges: roughly $2,000 to $2,500 of the nearly $3,900 in prepaid gift cards had already been spent. According to the defendant, the money went toward diapers, food, clothes for her children, and basic living expenses. Now this is where cases like this become complicated from a moral standpoint. On one hand, the defendant claims she was trying to provide for her kids during a difficult time. On the other hand, the judge reminds her of a critical point. It was never her money to begin with. Financial hardship can explain why someone might feel desperate, but it doesn't legally justify taking money that belongs to someone else. This moment highlights an important reality about criminal cases. Judges often hear emotional explanations about why a crime happened, but their responsibility isn't just to understand the story. It's to balance compassion with accountability.
All right. Tell me, how much money of this $3,900 do you believe you actually spent?
About $2.5 grand on clothes, on diapers, on food for my kids. And I mean, maybe gas money, but other than that, it was for my kids.
But it wasn't your money. And you
I know.
felt so guilty about it, you just left them there, so maybe somebody else could find them. That's like finding cash. I don't believe that part of the story either. So, what are you doing now? Are you working someplace?
I have a job. I called Melissa, my check-in lady, and I even told her I had interviews. I'm trying to find a job, but with this on my record, it is very hard to find a job. I was doing Instacart, but they did a background check on me and they canceled that because of this. But I have been trying to find a job that will hire me with this.
Yeah, this is not quite an embezzlement charge because you just stole someone's stuff. I had another guy recently stole someone's purse. He was in the store. You were an employee of the store and violated their trust by stealing from customers. I'm going to put you on a 12-month probation.
As the hearing moves towards sentencing, the judge explains exactly why there will be a jail component in this case. First, he points out that the charge used to be a felony, but it was already reduced to a misdemeanor. In other words, the defendant had already received a significant break before even walking into the courtroom. Second, the judge emphasizes something that many people overlook. This wasn't a single impulsive decision. The defendant didn't just take the gift cards once, she continued using them repeatedly, spending the stolen money over time. From the court's perspective, that shows multiple opportunities where the defendant could have stopped but chose not to. Because of that, the judge orders 12 months of probation, restitution totaling about $4,175, and 30 days in jail after credit for time already served. The judge even explains that the jail time might be scheduled flexibly to accommodate childcare responsibilities. It's a sentence that tries to balance punishment with practicality, but it also sends a clear message about responsibility.
I'm going to put you in the embezzler group, whatever's left of it. Our next client may be going in there also.
Is that what you were talking about last time I was here?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm going to sentence you to 34 days in jail, credit 4, leaving 30 days to serve for stealing and then lying about it. I'm going to have the probation department schedule it. You've got children, and we may need to do this on weekends or something for childcare. But I wasn't very happy about it that you weren't upfront about your larceny charge in Elkhart. You were doing something you weren't supposed to do with people you weren't supposed to be with in South Bend, and you blew $3,900 worth of somebody else's money. The fine is $0. There's a $75 crime victims' rights fee, a $50 state minimum fee, a $150 attorney fee. I'm going to waive the probation oversight fee because you owe $3,900 restitution to Walmart. They reimbursed the lady because you were an employee there. Someone stole my son's wallet at Walmart and we never recovered it. And Walmart said, hey, it wasn't our problem. Let's add that up. $4,175. That's not a lot for a young mother with no job. I mean, it is a lot. So we can be some flexible, but there's a jail component to this. This used to be a felony. It was reduced to a misdemeanor, which was a gift. And you weren't forthcoming about what transpired. All right, I'm gonna order no drugs and no alcohol, although I don't think those are a factor here. And you also have to pay for the group. This is gonna be very hard for you to pay this restitution, but you owe it.
By the end of this hearing, the judge has delivered a sentence that reflects both the seriousness of the crime and the complicated personal circumstances surrounding it. The defendant will serve 30 days in jail, complete a year of probation, and repay more than $4,000 in restitution and fees. She will also participate in an accountability group designed for people who commit financial crimes like theft or embezzlement. Throughout the hearing, the judge repeatedly emphasized one key issue: honesty. In the court's view, the situation became worse not just because of the theft, but because the defendant wasn't completely upfront about her criminal history and the missing gift cards. This case also highlights something many viewers might not realize about the justice system. Judges often try to balance punishment with opportunities for someone to rebuild their life, especially when children and financial struggles are involved. But that balance depends heavily on trust and accountability. Now we want to hear from you. Do you think the judge made the right decision in this case, or should the sentence have been harsher? If you found this courtroom breakdown interesting, make sure to hit that like button, share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more jaw-dropping courtroom stories and legal breakdowns.
One of the issues here, sometimes temptation has a big red flag and says temptation 100 yards ahead, but mostly it just sneaks up on you and there it is. So you took these prepaid gift cards, $3,900, and then you spent them again and again and again. So temptation shouted in your ear and you ignored it. So it wasn't one moment of weakness. You stole them and then you used them over and over again, at least $2,500, probably or possibly more. That's why there's a jail component here. What I want you to do is go downstairs briefly and check in with the probation department. You're not well. I will give you, just check in with them, then you can call in. You're going to be put on probation. We're going to schedule that 30 days of jail. It may be even one day at a time. I'm not sure, but we'll work that out.
Mhm.
All right, Ms. Hines, anything further?
Nothing, Your Honor.
All right, you can show her where to go
Yes, I
downstairs.
will. Thank you.
Thank you.